This is the story of Frog, Where Are You? By Mercer Mayer. One day, a boy and his dog found a frog and put him in a jar. They went to bed that night, and the frog escaped while they were sleeping. In the morning, the boy and the dog lifted the jar, and the frog was gone. The boy and the dog looked everywhere for the frog. In his boots, the dog looked in the jar and got his head stuck. So they opened the window, the boy opened the window and yelled outside, "Frog!" No frog. While they were looking out the window, the dog fell out of the window with the jar on his head. When he hit the ground, the jar cracked open, so he didn't have his head stuck in there anymore. The boy was mad, but the dog was happy. They went outside looking for Frog. The dog howled and the boy yelled, "Frog! Where are you?" No frog. The boy looked in a hole in the ground, thinking the frog could have went down there. The dog found a beehive next to his hole, to the boy's hole, and he howled at the bees. While the boy was looking in the hole, he got his nose pinched. "Ouch," he said. And the dog kept howling at the bees, but no frog. While the dog was howling at the bee's nest fell on the ground and all the bees started swarming out. The boy climbed in the tree and found a hole in the tree, so he looked inside and said, "Frog, where are you?" While he was looking in the hole in the tree, an owl came out. It scared him, and the boy fell out of the tree. And the bees started chasing the dog. The owl chased the boy all the way to a couple of big rocks. The boy climbed on top of one of the big rocks, and while he was looking out over the rock, he held on to antlers. He thought it was a tree. So he held on to the antlers, and the dog snooped around looking for the frog on the ground. While the boy was holding on to the antlers that he thought was a tree, the deer poked his head up, and the boy fell onto the antlers, onto the deer, and the deer carried him away to the edge of a little cliff. The dog barked and barked to put the boy down, but he didn't. The deer got to the edge of the cliff, and he suddenly stopped, and the boy and the dog fell off the cliff and were going to land into a mud puddle. The boy and the dog landed in the big mud puddle, and when they came up, the boy heard something. Maybe it was the frog. He put his hand to his ear, and he listened. And the dog listened too. The boy looked at the dog and said, "Shh, I hear something." They climbed over the log. What do you think happened next? They climbed over the log and found a mommy and a daddy frog. Then the baby frogs hopped to their mother and father. Frog had found his family. The end.